My family disinvited me from Thanksgiving because I made everyone uncomfortable by existing. 2 weeks later, on Thanksgiving Day, I watched their faces drop in slow motion as car after car turned away from my aunt's tiny suburban house and drove straight up the long, maple-lined driveway of my $3 million Vermont estate. The same people who'd nodded along while my aunt called me dramatic and ungrateful were suddenly hugging me, taking selfies by my lake, and posting videos of my chef carving a 24-pound turkey in my marble kitchen. By the time the sun set, the truth about what my family had done to me was out. My phone was blowing up with messages from relatives begging for a second chance, and I finally got the revenge I didn't even know I'd been planning. I'm Lillian. I'm 26, and I grew up being told that family was everything. My mom, Claire, used to say, "Friends come and go, Lily, but family is forever." She'd say it while scraping burnt stuffing off a pan, or while my Aunt Linda shouted at the football game in the living room, or while my cousins fought over who got the last piece of pumpkin pie. Thanksgiving was our thing. Loud, messy, chaotic, and weirdly comforting. But that was before money, before jealousy, before my too big life made them decide I no longer fit at the table I helped pay for. People assume I married rich, or that I'm some kind of influencer. No, I write code. When I was 19, I got an internship at a startup in Boston. I took the crappiest room in a shared apartment, lived on instant noodles, and spent long nights learning everything I could. The startup exploded. I ended up with early stock options. When the company was acquired 3 years later, those "maybe they'll be worth something" options turned into a number I stared at on my screen for a full hour before I could breathe again. It wasn't billionaire money, but it was "I can change my life" money. I paid off my student loans. I bought Mom a car that didn't die on hills. I gave Aunt Linda enough to finally fix the ancient plumbing in her house. I paid for my younger cousin Amelia's first semester of community college when her financial aid fell through. No one said no, no one hesitated to cash the checks. But the second I bought myself something big, the estate, that's when things changed. The Vermont place wasn't an impulse. I'd always loved the quiet north, the leaves that turn the world into fire in fall. When a restored 1,800 seconds farmhouse on 50 acres came on the market, it felt like a dream. Lake, barn, wraparound porch, mountain views. Everyone celebrated at first. "Look at our fancy tech girl," Aunt Linda crowed the first time she came up to visit, dragging her husband Rick behind her. "We got ourselves a little billionaire Barbie." She said it with a laugh, but something behind her eyes tightened when she saw the library, the guest rooms, the professional kitchen. When she saw the view from the back deck, golden trees, and a glassy lake mirroring the sky, her smile slipped, just for a second. "It's a lot," she said, "for one girl who'd helped pay her mortgage twice." I brushed it off. "That's what you do with family, right? You ignore the weird comments and keep setting extra plates." The year everything exploded, I offered to host Thanksgiving at my estate for the first time. I was excited. I'd already hired a chef to help, ordered special linens, even started planning little gift bags with homemade maple syrup from a local farm. I imagined my cousins wandering the property, Amelia taking aesthetic photos by the lake, my mom finally having a holiday where she didn't spend 12 straight hours over a stove. My mom was thrilled. "I'm so proud of you, Lily," she said on the phone. "Your grandmother would have loved seeing you do this." But Aunt Linda, not so much. She'd always hosted Thanksgiving. It was her thing, her house, her rules, her signature dry turkey. When I called to talk to her, she was strangely cold. "What's this about you hosting?" she asked. "We've always done it here." "I know," I said carefully, "but your kitchen's small, and you always get so stressed. I thought maybe this year you could relax a little. We can do it at my place. I've already talked to Mom and you talked to your mother before talking to me," she snapped. The silence on the line felt heavy. "I just floated the idea," I said. "It's still your family too." "I wanted to help." "You wanted to help," she repeated, in this mocking tone. "You mean you wanted to show off that big fancy house again? That's not fair." "Oh, sweetie," she said, voice dripping with false sweetness. "Life's not fair. Some of us had to work real jobs. We didn't all get to luck into money." I could have reminded her that I'd been working 70-hour weeks for years, that I'd earned my promotions, written the features that helped the company grow, negotiated my own salary. Instead, I said softly, "I've helped you when things were tight, Linda. You know I don't throw it in your face." "Don't you dare," she hissed. That was family helping family, not charity. I never said it wasn't. And now you want to take my holiday away from me? You stroll in with your designer boots and act like you're better than us because you've got a big house in Vermont? My heart pounded. I don't think I'm better than you, I said. I just thought we could all be more comfortable. She gave a short, sharp laugh. Thanks, but no thanks. We'll keep Thanksgiving here as usual. If you want to come, you know where we are. We hung up on a tense, brittle silence. I cried afterward out of frustration more than anything. But I also told myself it would blow over. People get defensive. Things get weird around money. I had no idea it was just the beginning. A week before Thanksgiving, I got a family group text from Aunt Linda. Linda. Hi everyone. Looking forward to Thanksgiving. Just a quick note. Due to limited space, we won't be able to host everyone this year. I frowned. We'd never turned people away before. Linda. We're going to keep it smaller and more comfortable this time. So if you don't get a personal invite from me, please know we love you and we'll catch up another time. Seconds later, I got a private text from my cousin Amelia. Amelia, did you see the group text? Me. Yeah, weird, right? There was a pause. Amelia. She just pulled me aside. She said you aren't invited. I stared at my phone. Me. What? Amelia. She says you stir up drama and make her feel judged in her own home. That you called her selfish and tried to take Thanksgiving away. My stomach dropped. Me. I never called her selfish. I tried to help. Amelia. I know. I was there for half that call. She's rewriting it, Lily. She's telling everyone you wanted to replace her, that you said her house is trash. I sat down on the edge of my bed. My hands were shaking. A moment later, my mom called. Sweetheart, she said, sounding guilty and tired. Linda called me. She says you upset her. I tried to offer help. I whispered. She's the one who exploded. And now I'm disinvited? There was a long pause. I told her it was wrong, Mom said. But she kept going on about how Lillian looks down on us now and how she won't have anyone throwing money in her face at her own table. Mom, I've only ever tried to help. I know, she said. I could hear tears in her voice. But she told me if you come, she won't host at all. And then everyone will blame you. I'm so sorry, baby. So you're still going? I said hollowly. Yes, Mom admitted. I don't want to cause more drama. We'll do something another day, okay? Another day, another table, somewhere else, like a consolation prize. I hung up and just sat there in my empty Vermont kitchen, staring at my reflection in the dark window. I'd paid their bills. I'd bought their groceries when money was tight. I'd offered my home so we could all be together and comfortable. And now I wasn't comfortable enough for them. They disinvited me from the very holiday that had always meant family no matter what. Something inside me snapped. Not in a loud, dramatic way. In a quiet, cold way. I was done begging to sit at a table I'd helped keep standing. The idea and the Plani didn't plan revenge right away. At first, I just planned to ignore Thanksgiving. To pretend it was any other Thursday. Maybe work. Maybe watch movies. Maybe cry a little and eat microwave mac and cheese. But 2 days later, Amelia called late at night. Lily, she whispered, you're on speaker with me and Dylan. Dylan is our cousin too. Hey, I said cautiously. They both started talking at once. Linda's been talking so much crap about you, Dylan said. She keeps saying you forgot where you came from. And she told Grandma you refused to come, Amelia added. Grandma was crying. She thinks you chose your rich fancy life over us. I felt like the air left my lungs. I never refused, I said. She disinvited me. I know, Amelia said, but she's telling people the opposite. Dylan snorted. She liked your money. She doesn't like you outgrowing her. Their voices were angry, protective, and somewhere in all that hurt, something else sparked. I had a massive estate, plenty of food, enough space for everyone who'd ever felt not enough at Linda's table. If she wanted to keep her Thanksgiving small and exclusive, fine. I could make mine bigger. Not out of petty competition though, yes, that was part of it, but out of this deep, aching desire to show the people she'd been manipulating that there was another way to be family. The idea grew fast. Come here, I said suddenly. You and Dylan, come to Vermont for Thanksgiving instead. Seriously? Amelia whispered. I'll cover everything. I've got rooms. I'll drive down to pick up Grandma if I have to. And if you want to invite anyone else who's feeling weird about this whole thing, do it. There was a stunned silence. Then Amelia laughed a little wild, a little relieved. Oh my God, she said. You want to steal Thanksgiving? I smiled for the first time in days. No, I said. I want to take back what she tried to take from me. And I want Grandma to know the truth. The next week was a blur. I hired a local chef, Hannah, who nearly screamed when she saw my kitchen. You want a full Thanksgiving spread? She asked. Yes, I said. Traditional. But more. Turkey, ham, vegetarian options, pies, everything. Enough for, say, 30, maybe 40. She grinned. I'm in. I spent that afternoon making calls. Not to everyone, just people I trusted. People I knew were caught in the crossfire of Linda's ego. My cousin Mark, who'd stopped going to Thanksgiving a few years back because Linda kept making fun of his gluten intolerance. My younger second cousin, Sophie, whose boyfriend had been banned from coming last year because he had tattoos and Linda called him trash. My mom, that was the scary one. Mom, I said, voice shaking. Come to Vermont instead. She was quiet for a long time. I already told Linda I'd be there, she said finally. And she told Grandma I refused to come at all, I replied. She's lying about me, Mom. She disinvited me and is calling me selfish for not showing up anyway. Mom exhaled shakily. I know what she said to you, I continued. I heard it in your voice. You're trying to keep the peace, but at what cost? She's using you to make herself feel right. I don't want to break up the family, Mom whispered. She already did, I said softly. I'm just refusing to let her pretend it's my fault. Another long silence. Then, very quietly, what would it look like? What? Thanksgiving. At your place. I swallowed a lump in my throat. It would look like you not cooking all day, I said. We'll have a chef. It would look like you resting on a big couch by the fire, with a blanket and a glass of wine, watching the snow. It would look like Grandma not being judged for how much she eats, and Amelia not getting side-eyed for taking a second slice of pie. And no one getting mocked for their job or clothes or life. My mom sniffled. I want that, she whispered. Then come, I said. You don't even have to tell Linda why. Just say your plans changed. She'll be furious. She's already furious, I said. At least this way, you're not letting her control you. Finally, she sighed. Okay, she said. I'll come. I hung up, heart pounding. I wasn't just planning a big dinner. I was planning a quiet, devastating shift in loyalty. Thanksgiving morning dawned sharp and bright, the air crisp enough to bite. Frost glittered on the fields. My estate looked like something out of a postcard. White house, dark green shutters, smoke curling from the chimney, the lake like a sheet of silver glass. Inside, the house was warm and full of life. The smell of roasting turkey, cinnamon, and butter wrapped around us. Lily, this is insane, Amelia whispered, standing in the foyer in her oversized sweater and boots. It's like a movie. Just wait until you see the dessert table, I said, grinning. My mom arrived next, clutching a pie even though I told her she didn't need to bring anything. Her eyes went wide as she took it all in. The long wooden farmhouse table set with candles and greenery. The cozy living room with blankets and board games stacked by the fireplace. Oh, honey, she said, hugging me. You did all this? For us, I said. For family. Cars kept pulling up. Mark and his wife. Sophie and her tattooed, very polite boyfriend, Josh. A few of Grandma's siblings who'd stopped going to Linda's a while back because she always has something to say about everything. And then, Grandma. I'd driven down myself to pick her up that morning. While Linda thought she was resting before the big day, Grandma stepped into my foyer and just stopped. Oh my, she murmured. Is this all yours? Yeah, I said, suddenly shy. It's my place in Vermont. Her eyes filled with tears. I'm so proud of you, she said. You did this all on your own. I hugged her tightly. My throat thick. We were halfway through appetizers, stuffed mushrooms, cheese boards, little cranberry brie bites when it happened. The first text, unknown. Are you doing Thanksgiving at your place? I frowned. Me. Who is this? Unknown. It's Rachel. I'm parked outside Linda's and no one's here. My cousin Rachel lived about 40 minutes from Aunt Linda. Me. What do you mean? No one's there. Rachel. Lights off. Door locked. She texted the group that dinner is at 5. It's 4:45. I checked the time. That exact moment, my phone buzzed again. Dylan, dude. Same. We're out front too. No cars. And then, group chat Turkey Day crew Linda. Hey everyone. Last minute change. Not feeling well. So I'm canceling dinner. We'll do something another time. So sorry. I stared at the screen. She canceled. She canceled on them all and never even tried to warn them earlier. One by one, messages lit up the chat. Wait, what? We already drove an hour. Why didn't you say this sooner? I brought pies? Then, Rachel, isn't Lillian doing something at her place? Everything went very quiet inside me. I took a breath. Then I typed, me. Yes, I am. I've got plenty of food and space. If you're already out and want somewhere to go, you're welcome here. I dropped my address. Hit send. Amelia watched me, eyes wide. What did you just do? She whispered. I swallowed. I opened my door, I said. Let's see who walks through. It started with 2 cars, then 4, then 8. From the living room window, I watched headlights snake up my long driveway like a glowing ribbon. Rachel burst through the door first, cheeks pink from the cold. I cannot believe her, she said, shrugging off her coat. She didn't even open the door. She texted us from inside the house. I could see the TV on. Behind her, more cousins filed in, holding foil-covered dishes. They'd been planning to add to Linda's table. I greeted each one, took their coats, showed them where to put their food. You really don't mind? One of them asked. We don't want to crash your fancy thing. This is the thing, I said firmly. You're not crashing. You're invited. The house grew louder, warmer, fuller. Kids raced each other down the hall. Someone turned on music in the kitchen. Hannah, the chef, moved with practiced grace, delegating small tasks to anyone who wandered near the stove. How many are we at? She asked, laughing. I did a quick count in my head. 32? And growing, she said. Good thing I made too much. Midway through dinner, the turkey perfectly golden, the gravy silky, the stuffing somehow both crispy and soft. Someone's phone buzzed loudly at the table. It was Rachel's. She glanced at the screen, then choked on her wine. Oh my God, she said. You need to see this. She flipped her phone around. On the family group chat, Aunt Linda had written, Linda, since everyone decided to bail on me and run off to Lillian's mansion, I hope you're all happy. She must feel so proud stealing my holiday. My stomach clenched. Angry murmurs rippled around the table. She canceled on us, Mark said. We were already there when she sent that text. I could see her silhouette through the curtains, Dylan added. She was watching TV. My mom looked like she was going to be sick. I can't believe she's doing this, she whispered. I stood up slowly. Okay, I said. I'm done letting her rewrite the story. I picked up my phone, opened the chat. My hands shook, but my voice in my own head felt suddenly clear. I typed, me, Linda, you disinvited me from Thanksgiving a week ago, then lied and told Grandma I refused to come. Today, you canceled on everyone after they arrived at your house. A few reactions popped up almost instantly from relatives who weren't with us. Me, I didn't steal your holiday. I made sure our family still had one. My door was open to anyone who needed a place to go. I hesitated only a second before adding, me, if anyone here wants to know what actually happened between us, I'll happily share the full story privately. I'm done being called selfish for setting boundaries. I hit send. Within seconds, the chat blew up. Wait, you disinvited her? Linda, is that true? We were literally on your porch. You said she refused to come. Linda responded with a flurry of defensive messages. Linda, wow, so everyone's just going to gang up on me now? Linda, I don't need this stress. I was trying to host like I always do. Someone replied, you always do it because you never let anyone else try. I looked around my table. People were eating, laughing, talking. Grandma was on her second helping of mashed potatoes. No one watching her plate. Sophie's tattooed boyfriend was telling some story about getting stuck in a snowstorm, making everyone roar with laughter. My mom looked at me, eyes shining. You did good, baby, she said softly. This feels better. For the first time, Thanksgiving felt like it belonged to all of us, not just one woman's ego. Aftermath and the real revenge. You'd think the revenge was everyone choosing my feast over Linda's. But here's the truth. The real revenge wasn't about money, or the size of my house, or the shock value of cars turning up my driveway instead of hers. It was about shifting the center of gravity. For years, Linda had used guilt and tradition to keep everyone orbiting around her. If she was upset, the whole holiday was ruined. If she felt slighted, everyone had to apologize. That night, over leftover pie and board games, people started talking, really talking. I stopped going to years ago, Mark admitted. After she made that comment about my job in front of everyone, She told me my boyfriend wasn't family material, Sophie said quietly. Like she's the judge of that. She made me feel like a burden every time I ate an extra roll, Grandma said, surprisingly fierce. I am 82 years old. If I want a third roll, I'll have a third roll. There was laughter, but also this shared sense of awakening. It wasn't just me. It had never been just me. Over the next few days, the fallout hit. Linda sent me a long, raging text about how I had humiliated her and turned everyone against her with my money. I thought about arguing. Instead, I wrote one simple message. Me. I didn't turn anyone against you. I stopped letting you turn everyone against me. I wish you healing, but I won't be your scapegoat anymore. Then I blocked her. My mom did too, eventually. So did Amelia. So did others. Thanksgiving at my estate became a new tradition. The next year, we didn't even pretend to consider going back. We sent the invite out early. Thanksgiving at Lillian's, everyone welcome. No judgment, no drama, no food policing, just family. We had even more people, more kids, more laughter, more stories, and each time someone stepped onto my wraparound porch, carrying a dish or a bottle of wine, or just their tired body and hopeful heart, I felt something deep inside me settle. I hadn't been cut out. I'd just finally realized I could build my own table. So that's how I went from being disinvited from Thanksgiving to hosting the kind of Thanksgiving I always wished we had, at my $3 million Vermont estate, surrounded by the people who chose me back. If you've ever been made to feel like you don't belong at your own family's table, if you've been guilt-tripped, gaslit, or painted as the villain for setting boundaries, remember this. You are allowed to walk away. You are allowed to build something better. Sometimes the real revenge isn't slamming the door. It's opening another one and filling the room behind it with so much warmth that no one misses the old, cold house at all. If my story hit home for you, tap that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more stories like this. And tell me in the comments, would you have gone to Linda's anyway, or would you have come to my Thanksgiving?